Welcome to Wonder Dream Wander, a Walt Disney World podcast.
I'm Amanda.
And I'm Ron.
Grab yours and buckle up because today we are embarking on the most magical journey on Earth.
Whether you're a lifelong Disney buff, a total noob, a childless millennial like us, or a family, we will cover the best ins and outs of Walt Disney World travel.
So with a little bit of pixie dust, we're off to episode 2.
Episode 2, Dining and Park Reservations. Today we will discuss making dining and experience reservations.
We'll also discuss the out-of-park, on-property hotel bars and restaurants we recommend, and dive a little deeper into the Disney dining plan.
You can and should make Disney dining reservations as soon as you are able to, as some of those restaurants we will recommend are in really high demand and often book quickly. First, let's review your theme park reservations. When visiting the parks, you must make a park reservation for which park you will be visiting each day. To do this, go into the My Disney Experience app and from the main menu, select theme park reservations. Depending on your ticket or pass type, it will give you all available days you can book, excluding blockout dates and dates that have already reached capacity. This system began in the pandemic as a way of keeping track of the park's limited capacity at the time, but it has remained in service until now. Theme park reservations are only for the first park you intend to visit that day. You do not have to book a park reservation if you are intending to park hop. That being said, you can make dining reservations 60 days prior to your reserved park date. If you are staying on property, you can make dining reservations for the entirety of your trip on that first 60-day mark. If you are staying off property, you must make these reservations day by day.
So, for example, if you're staying off property and booked Hollywood Studios for July 1st and Magic Kingdom for July 2nd, you would have to make your dining reservations for Hollywood Studios, or the location you want that day, on May 2nd, and your diner reservations for July 2nd would have to be booked on May 3rd. If you're staying on property, you can make all your reservations for the entire week on May 2nd. Reservations for restaurants in Disney Springs can also be made 60 days in advance, and there are no admissions or park reservations needed to visit this area. There are a lot of great restaurants available there. You can make these reservations by phone or through the My Disney Experience app directly.
Some of these rules change frequently. I remember there was a time where there used to be, you can only book dining 30 days out if you were in off-property and 60 days out if you were on property. They've changed that, and these change pretty frequently. So by the time you're listening to this, I would double check the My Disney Experience page for their current dates and expectations. There were some rumors that the reservation system for theme parks was going to go away, but that hasn't yet. So just double check by the time you're listening to this if these dates and expectations have changed. But anyway, we will cover all the in-park dining options more in depth in upcoming park breakdown episodes, but for now we will focus on character dining, the toughest to get reservations, and hidden off-property gems that you might want to check out. I know it can be a scary thought to leave a park for dinner, but remember your tickets allow you to leave and re-enter the park as many times as you want. You can also park hop to make an evening reservation if the restaurant you really want is not available on the date you are visiting that park.
If you're staying on property, you may see Disney Dining Plan add option for your trip package. With the dining plan, each member of your party will get one quick service meal per night of stay, one table service meal per night of stay, one snack / non-alcoholic drink per night of stay, and one resort refillable drink mug. These are not very practical to carry around the parks, though, unless you have a stroller with a cup holder, and will only really use these within your hotel. Now, it's important to note that if you plan to reserve character dining or what is considered, fine / signature dining restaurants, it will deduct 2 table service meals from your balance, even though you're only having one meal. We recommend you browse the menus on the My Disney app for restaurants you're interested in, adding up the total of what you intend to order, kind of like that idea of what you want to get, and then compare that to the price of the dining plan. Plus, who doesn't love to mentally plan their Disney dinner?
I personally have never purchased the dining plan because it never really seemed worth it based on what I typically order. But I know some people are really big fans of it. There were some times that Disney took the dining plans away and people were really upset about that. They've re-implemented them and people felt really great about that. For me, I'm indifferent because I never use it. But it is worth noting that the parks allow you to bring in your own food. Lots of families bring in their own bagged snacks or lunches, rendering the dining plan useless for them. So, with that being said, think ahead about what experience would work best for your group.
We did the dining plan once on our family trip, but this was one time when we went with a whole family.
Mhm.
And so that definitely worked for us in that case. Unless the park has a dining option, that I 100% want to go to, I will pack my own lunch and water in order to splurge on something else later. Now let's dive back into the park. So let's start with Magic Kingdom. There are three signature, kind of slash character dining experiences in the park. You have Cinderella's Royal Table, Be Our Guest, oh my god, and try the gray stuff, it really is delicious, and the Crystal Palace. These restaurants have a fixed per person fee that may vary in price depending if you choose the lunch or dinner option. Menu upgrades and alcohol are charged in addition to these prices. Magic Kingdom is the only dry park, so you can purchase alcohol here at any sit-down restaurant.
The lowest end of these three restaurants is the Crystal Palace. It is a buffet, self-serve restaurant where you can meet all of the Winnie the Pooh characters. It is a casual setting with a non-remarkable ambiance. The other two options, Cinderella's Royal Table and Be Our Guest, are far more impressive and, in my opinion, much more worth the price. At Cinderella's Royal Table, you get to dine inside the actual castle in the middle of the park, with themed rooms, stairwells, and a view overlooking the parks. Small tip, you get a better window view if you have a smaller party. Every time I've gone as a party of 2, I've always had a window view directly looking out over Fantasyland. But larger groups tend to get seated towards the center of the room, which is away from the windows. The menu options are generous, and you can get a really lovely steak there. It is a full 3-course meal. As part of this experience, each member of your party is given several souvenirs, usually a wishing star and a magic wand or sword. And you also get to meet at least 5 Disney princesses. This experience is extremely worthwhile in that you come away with something physical, you have a great meal, and you get to experience part of a park that many do not even know exists, as well as meeting multiple characters without waiting in lines.
Yeah, we get it. You love Cinderella's.
I do. I take every time a person has been either for the first time or has not been since child, I always take them to Cinderella's Royal Table. It's like a must-do for me.
I get it. I like legit felt like a real Disney princess when they gave me like my star wand. And I was like, oh my god.
Yeah.
And I still have it.
I have mine too. I have several at this point. I'm going to start asking for the swords.
So then, what do you think about Be Our Guest?
Be Our Guest is a significantly better experience overall for dinner, but still worth checking out if you can't snag a dinner hour reservation. They do have brunch and lunch options. If you're a fan of Beauty and the Beast, this restaurant recreates the Beast's castle. You can dine in one of several rooms, including the Grand Ballroom from the big dancing scene in the yellow dress, the West Wing complete with the Beast's torn portrait and the wilting rose in the jar, and a general dining room area with a spinning statue of a dancing Belle and Beast. There is also a hallway with a suit of armor, and the entire thing is themed top to bottom. Plus, they do have the gray stuff on the dessert menu. And as part of this experience, you get to meet the Beast, which is a character unavailable to meet anywhere else in the parks. These reservations fill up incredibly fast. What you can do, if they don't have a time slot you're looking for, but do have some other time slot that day, take that available slot. Because what you can do is every day of those 60 days before your reservation, you can go in the app, go into your reservation, and click modify. You can search for new available times that day. Sometimes there's still nothing, but other times you get lucky and a new slot pops up as other people start canceling. So it's worth snagging whatever you can and then trying to modify it later. There are also external services like mousewatcher.com and mousedining.com where you can sign up to be alerted when the restaurant of your choice has an opening on the date and time that you selected.
Definitely agree with getting the first available time slot. That's actually the first time I got to eat at Be Our Guest, and it was in the room I was actually sitting, like where like right behind me was Belle and the Beast, spinning. But that's how I got it. Was I took the first like available, and then I modified it. All right, but character greets may not be everyone's game plan when visiting the park. We get it. So we wanted to give an honorable mention to our favorite sit-down restaurant, the Jungle Skipper Canteen, located in Adventureland. This restaurant, Veronica loves it. You can't tell.
I love the Jungle Skipper Canteen. I go there even by myself. When I do solo trips, I book a reservation and I go by myself every time.
This restaurant is themed off the Jungle Cruise ride. Surprise. You know, what did you think, right? Jungle Skipper Canteen, which famously features corny dad jokes. The whole restaurant is themed. The staff is hilarious. They get really into it. And the menu is always great. So don't forget to ask for the secret menu.
Yes, there is a secret menu, and I'm not going to tell you what's on it, but I always order from there. It's fantastic. The next park I want to talk about is Hollywood Studios. There's only one character meet and greet dining experience here, but there are several other great sit-down dining options. Believe me, you will want to plan at least one sit-down meal a day just to get off your feet and in some air conditioning for an hour. The character dining here is Hollywood and Vine. For breakfast, you can meet Disney Junior characters, which is really geared towards children and smaller kids and families. For lunch and dinner, you can meet Minnie, Mickey, and friends. The more upscale restaurant option is the Hollywood Brown Derby. If you are looking for a really good meal, the taste is worth the price. They have fantastic cocktail and wine menus as well. And a fun fact, this restaurant features John Stamos' favorite Cobb salad. Every time he goes, he's a big Disney fan if you didn't know, and he goes to Disney a lot, and every time he goes to Hollywood Brown Derby and orders a Cobb salad. The hardest to get reservation in this park is Oga's Cantina in Galaxy's Edge. This Star Wars themed bar previously only offered 2 snack options, which were not very tasty, but they have recently expanded their menu to offer a couple more bites, like a flatbread. However, full meals are not offered here. They do allow children, so it's not even though it's a bar, it's not 21 and over. They do allow children and families. They have non-alcoholic options. The ambiance is super fun, and the staff are really on theme here. The beverages always look really cool and pretty. My favorite drink is the Fuzzy Tauntaun, but warning, it has a foam with some sort of like numbing agent that makes your lips tingle while you drink it. My favorite snack is the Rhodian Ration, which is an alcoholic, boozy jello in a petri dish topped with Pop Rocks. This is the only place that you can order a non-alcoholic blue milk and have it come with an oatmeal cookie. You can get blue milk in the parks, but they don't come with cookies. They only do that at Oga's Cantina.
Do you remember when you introduced me to the blue milk? Do you remember? Like, you hyped it up so big.
Of course I remember, because you said it tastes like soap, and I'm thinking maybe you have that weird cilantro flavor thing where, like, you know, some people think cilantro tastes like soap. I'm like, this does not taste like soap to me. It tastes so good. I get it all the time. I love it. Like we said, Magic Kingdom is the only dry park. All other parks do sell alcoholic and beer and things like that. Lots of alcoholic options at stands and quick to go grab stations throughout the parks, and you can carry them through the parks. So Hollywood Studios is no exception. You can purchase a blue milk at the blue milk stand. It is a quick service, grab and go type thing, and you carry it with you and drink it as you go around the park. You can get it in an alcoholic or non-alcoholic version. They do now have a blue milk and a green milk. They're flavored differently, and they also come with a different type of alcohol. So depending on what you like, if you're getting the alcoholic option, you might want to choose one or the other based on your preference.
I'm telling you guys, our friends and I were so hyped, and we were like dancing on the line, hyped. And
I can't
and
believe you
listen,
think it tastes like soap. I'm
it did not
so
taste
sad.
good. It
It
was
it's so
the
good.
green one's better. The green one's better.
We will stand divided on this topic. I am a blue milk lover, and I swear by it.
All right, we get to finally go to my favorite park, Epcot. There's tons of great dining experiences here. I mean, there's so many to choose from. Epcot's really known for offering some of the best dining options, but let's not get ahead of ourselves. Let's start with character dining. There are two character dining options here at Epcot. Akershus in Norway Pavilion and the Garden Grill inside the land section. At Akershus, you'll be served Norwegian-style favorites and get to meet 5 princesses. They rotate out the princesses, and so it may vary, but typically you can expect Aurora, Snow White, Jasmine, Cinderella, and Belle. When I went, we got Snow White, so that was super cute. One year, and then kind of just tying into that like Snow White thing, you know, one year we actually went and had breakfast at that Kringlo bakery, that cute little bakery that Norway has. And this was years ago, so this was before COVID. And it just opened for breakfast, and it was just us and the wooden benches and the birds singing. And I was like, I'm Snow White. I'm Snow White right now. And we had just seen her like a few days before. So moving on to the Garden Grill, you'll have a more relaxed American menu here in the slowly rotating restaurant. You get to meet Mickey, Pluto, Chip and Dale. As for the World Showcase, which is my favorite, the dining options there are going to be a whole episode, you know, they easily on its own, and we'll cover these more in depth in the future, but know that we don't have too many bad experiences for restaurants in Epcot. Perhaps the current hardest to get into restaurant in Epcot is the Space 220 restaurant. It's the newest one to open in the park. It simulates being transported into space by elevator and then viewing the galaxy from the windows as you dine. Pricing is fixed per person, and it includes the appetizer and entree for lunch for $55 for adults, and then dinner includes appetizer, entree, and dessert $79 per adults. So you have sides, upgrades, and alcohol is charged in addition to these prices.
Okay, now let's travel over to my favorite park, Animal Kingdom. There's only one character dining option here and one highly rated restaurant. And while that may not seem like a lot of options, I find that the quick service meals here are the best quality of all the parks. At Animal Kingdom, they focus on really heavy theming. So you have Africa, Asia, and Pandora, which is the land of Avatar. And within these lands, all of the quick service stations have themed meals, themed dining that serves food from the country or inspired by the land that you are visiting. And I find that the options here are really high quality and very delicious. But for the character dining, you will go to Tusker House in Africa. This buffet-style dining experience features lots of American and international dish options. Here you'll meet Mickey, Donald, Goofy, and Daisy in fun safari-themed outfits. For the upscale dining option, I highly recommend Tiffin's. It is a really quiet, high-quality meal that helps you unwind from the hustle and bustle of the parks.
So small shout out to the meatballs at Tusker House and the little boy who loaded his plate with them. And he had like 7 on his plate, and I was like, are they good? And he just stared at me. And so then I loaded my plate with, they were that good. Like I had to go back and get
Amazing.
7.
They have really good cookies there too. I feel like the chocolate chip cookies at Tusker House just hit different for me. Like I don't know why, but they were better than any other buffet I've ever been to.
And they have like these mini like pineapple things, which I know sound crazy. It's just I was full of meatballs.
You needed a little sweet treat to wash them down.
But I completely 100% agree with Tiffin's. So amazing. You know, it's definitely one of my all-time favorite Disney restaurants. But as we said earlier, there aren't just great dining options inside the parks. There are amazing options in the hotels too, including for character dining. There are 6 on-property Disney hotels that offer character dining. Topolino's Terrace in the beautiful new Rivera Resort offers rooftop dining with a view and a meet with Mickey, Minnie, Donald, Daisy, in fun-themed outfits. Chef Mickey's in the Contemporary Resort features a meet with Mickey, Minnie, Goofy, Donald, and Pluto dressed as chefs. This resort is also walking distance from Magic Kingdom. Cape May Cafe and Beach Resort features a breakfast buffet with character. You will see Minnie, Donald, Goofy, and Daisy all dressed in their beach attire. It's so cute.
It is very cute.
In the 1900 Park Fair and the Grand Floridian now offers a whimsical location set in the 20th century where you can meet Tiana, Mirabelle, Cinderella, and Aladdin as Prince Ali during breakfast. Yeah, this only began in April of last year. Ohana in the Polynesian Resort features a breakfast with Lila, Stitch, Mickey, and Pluto.
Oh my god, let me say the last one. I have never gotten to do this yet, and I am absolutely dying to. This last on-property hotel dining, character dining experience is something I've been dying to try. Disney's Wilderness Lodge. First of all, total side note, I think it's the best smelling hotel of all of them. If you just walk through the lobby, I would just want to huff it all in and commit it to memory. I wish my nostrils smelled that smell at all times. It smells so good. But anyway, I digress. Disney's Wilderness Lodge features storybook dining at Artist Point. In this experience, you get to dine in an enchanted forest alongside Snow White and her friends, Dopey and Grumpy. After dinner, you can pose for a photo with the evil queen. These are elusive characters that usually are only seen in the parks during special Halloween events, usually in a parade, and aren't often available for photo ops. So snagging this reservation gets you a truly special experience.
I would genuinely love a photo of you with the evil queen. I would like truly love this. I want it like on a keychain.
First of all, I would die, but I would die happy. And I promise you I will make this happen one day.
So, great news. There are still endless options of amazing restaurants to try on Disney property, but let's highlight a few of our favorites. Number one on the list has to be Trader Sam's Grog Grotto in the Polynesian Resort.
Yes.
There's a fan, clearly, you can see.
Yes.
This tiki bar is themed top to bottom, from the drinks to the food, the decor, and the bartenders, who perform a little tidbit depending on what you order. There are no reservations taken here, and wait times can be hours long. It's highly recommended that you put your name down early, so like 5 p.m., and preferably go with a small party. I can't stress enough how fun and worthwhile it is to go.
Yes, just to add on to that, there are effects that happen in the room, like they flicker the lights when it thunders, and a bunch of things happen, and the bartenders are just super funny and really, really knowledgeable about their craft. And there's just so much to see and do. You can buy souvenir tiki mugs. They're very collectible. It is one of my favorite off-property experiences that I will try to go out of my way and do every trip if I can. Next on my list is probably the California Grill in the Contemporary Resort. This restaurant has a stellar menu, fantastic chefs, but also features views of the Magic Kingdom Castle and Space Mountain. They have an outdoor terrace where you can watch the Magic Kingdom fireworks if you can snag a reservation at the right time. There is a dress code here. Typically, men are not allowed to wear shorts or sandals. Consider it business casual.
So we ate here when we went together on a trip to Disney with our friend, and it was definitely one of the highlights, for me anyway, of the trip. And it's so close to Magic Kingdom. I remember feeling like I could literally just touch Space Mountain.
Yeah, it was really incredible, and it was such a great meal.
Okay, dear listeners, it should be no surprise that the most expensive Disney hotel would have the highest number of offerings of great restaurants. The Grand Floridian's highest rated restaurants are Narcoossee's, which features a waterfront dining and lots of seafood options. Victoria and Albert's, the famous Victoria and Albert's. This restaurant has been the winner of the prestigious AAA 5-Diamond Award every year since 2000 and the Forbes Travel Guide 5-Star Award. And the Enchanted Rose. This is a small bar slash lounge slash restaurant that's inspired by Beauty and the Beast and has some themed but adult and classy menu items and cocktails.
An influencer favorite locale is Boma in the Animal Kingdom Lodge. This is an all-you-can-eat American and African buffet with lots of bread, pita, hummus, and vegetarian options. They have this kind of mixed bread service with lots of dipping sauces that people just go absolutely nuts for. It's very color and flavor rich, which is a big fun experience that lots of influencers love to take pictures of and post. It is really tasty and will certainly leave you satisfied.
I want to pause here for a moment and give a couple of shout outs to some of my favorite places. So many shout out before we go to my favorite places to the Crystal Palace. So I love Winnie the Pooh, but Piglet has been my favorite since I was like a small child, and I still have my worn like Piglet stuffy. And I don't know how Disney magic works at all. But so you guys know the characters will come to your table and they'll stay there, depending on the group. Normally I've noticed that if there's little kids, they'll stay there longer. And my cousins at the time were very, very little. So they were there, kind of really hanging out with them. And I don't know how Piglet knew, but Piglet came over to me and like hung out with me for like a long while. Like Piglet knew. I don't know how.
So
but,
sweet. That's so
either.
cute.
And I have like this great photo with Piglet, and I'm just cheesing. I mean, like you can't see my eyes; you just see red cheeks and like just this huge grin.
That's adorable.
My favorite #1 restaurant in the Magic Kingdom. Shout out to the Liberty Tree Tavern. Oh my god. Oh my god. So the only reason that we had tried it was because every other place a couple of years ago had been booked. And this was the one place that had a reservation still open.
I can't believe I completely forgot about this.
So good.
Yeah, it is really good.
There is big portions. This is like a family style restaurant.
Yes.
And I mean big portions. So I mean I wouldn't say this is ideal for 2 people. This is definitely a 3 people plus. Although I can easily finish 2 of those stuffing bowls by myself. I mean, it is that good.
I'm a small eater. I eat like an appetizer or a kid's meal and I'm good to go. So this is definitely massive for me. Like I know that they're intended to be shared, but this for me is a lot. So and it's all really hearty, heavy meals. So you definitely leave full. You definitely leave satisfied. You can take your leftovers to go, so it's not like anything will be wasted if you are willing to take to go. But definitely 3+ people with healthy appetites for sure.
Yeah, the only way I can kind of like go through it is if I don't eat like breakfast or anything. I just skip dinner the next day, and that's the only way I can get through it. But also another heads up, because you will be full. And they'll be like, "Are you done eating?" And you'll be like, "Yes." Or you're like, "Another portion of the stuffing," or whatever. And then they will come out with a giant skillet cookie toffee cake.
Yes, in the skillet, in like the cast iron skillet, and it is so good. And just when you think you're like, "Oh gosh, I'm probably gonna barf, like, can I fit any more?" And then you taste the coffee cake, and it's so freaking good that you just force feed yourself because it just tastes so good you can't stop eating it.
It's so good. I've stopped people who like are looking outside at the menu and like looking up at the restaurant. I've stopped, like, you gotta eat there. It's so good.
I almost forgot about this because I go to Disney so many times on my own that this experience I would never be able to eat here on my own ever. Like if I got one dinner, it would last me like 4 days, So since I go on my own or with one other person, usually I don't reserve this restaurant. So I forget that I love it so much, but it is certainly a great place to sit down and eat, but come hungry and come with a hearty party.
And I was just there last October. It's the last time I was in Disney. And this was the first time actually I got reservations to the Sci-Fi Dine-In Theater restaurant in Hollywood Studios, because I mean, even when I went before COVID, there was no getting any reservations.
Mm.
So it's my first time there. I didn't really know what to expect. And they do go all out to make it feel like you're in a 50s like drive-in. So the lights are really dim, just a heads up, because I had actually a really hard time adjusting to that at first. And I don't know if you've had that problem. And I was actually getting very frustrated and very upset that I couldn't read the menu.
Yes,
Especially since I wasn't expecting it.
when you first walk in, it is pretty hard to adjust, and also the same goes if you leave the restaurant to go to the restroom. You're going back into like regular lighting and then coming back into the dark. So it's an adjustment period to do that too. It is really dimly lit and hard to read the menu. Okay, so when we say it looks like a 50s drive-in, you don't sit at tables, you sit in kind of replica models of 50s cars, and the dashboard is replaced with a little table area, and at that area there are little overhead lights, but they are super dimly lit because you are watching a movie while you dine, and there is a movie playing, so all the lights have to be quite low. And most of the movies are black and white, kind of like Attack of the 50-Foot Woman type, old-timey movie. Yeah.
I did think, since you just brought up the car, so we were a party of 3, and we actually had to share our car with hitchhikers, which was super cute.
That's
just to
fun.
fill in the car. And even though I wasn't expecting that either, because I didn't know what to expect, I actually thought that was super cute, and we kind of just were chatting with the other people. I think the only thing I would definitely love if it played an actual movie, because it just plays like little shorts from these creature features. It plays commercials from that era. But it was really great to see, like, let's all go to the lobby. Let's all go to the lobby. Which is the same song that played like the local movie theater when Ron and I were kids. I was like, oh my god, yes.
I love that song, okay? And I love the little characters that go along with that song as well. It's so nostalgic to me. I love it. I kind of skipped over talking about this one when we were talking about Hollywood Studios, because honestly, for me, the food was absolute garbage. I just thought it was not good quality. Everything was kind of sloppy and hastily made, and it just was all ambiance for me. And while this is not a very expensive restaurant, it didn't quite feel worth the price because of the quality of food, but the ambiance is great. So I think it's worth going for the experience and getting some super basic option like a burger, but I'm never in a hurry to go back. Instead, the 50s primetime diner in Hollywood Studios is way better, in my opinion. They serve classic American household meals like meatloaf, and the serving staff scolds you for putting your elbows on the table. The decor is all 50s living rooms and kitchens, and it is just so incredible every time. The portions are a little bit more generous and shareable, but not quite as large as Liberty. So for me, 50s primetime diner trumps the sci-fi dine-in on food quality alone.
I see. I had been to the 50s primetime diner beforehand, but I'd never done this. This was literally the first time I had done this one.
Yeah.
And then before, I don't want to leave this without shout out to Disney Springs, the Raglan Road, which is the one restaurant where my family goes. That's the one we have to hit up every time, to the point where, like, I'll message my cousins, like, I'll see you at Disney Springs, and they don't even have to ask where. Like, they'll be there at Raglan Road.
Now I have to shout this out because I was just talking about him before we started this episode, and I had no intention of mentioning him until you said Raglan Road, but my good friend Brendan is also a big Disney buff, and we have gone to Disney together several times, and every time we go, he makes us go to Raglan Road for, like, the Irish dancers and the performances that they have on. They have live bands and things like that, and he got that one song stuck in his head, and the whole trip he was like, in the bog down in the valley, yo, and he couldn't stop singing it, but I just found it so hilarious because he literally learned, like, the whole thing, and it's one of those, like, songs that keep repeating the thing before it, and it's like, like, there was an old lady who, that kind of song, it just keeps adding on, and it was like, and the hole in the bog down in the valley, yo, and I'm like, Oh my god, how do you know this? How many times have you seen this show? Well,
That is
anyway,
amazing.
yeah, he's a trip. He's so funny. But yeah, my fondest memories of Raglan Road are definitely with Brendan. So shout out to Brendan, and if you're listening to this, I hope you agree, and I hope you feel good that I mentioned you. And with that being said, we hope you found this information helpful and that you follow along with us on all our socials. Currently, we have Instagram, YouTube, and all of your favorite podcast providers at Wonder Dream Wonder. You can find all of our socials on our Linktree. It's linktree/Wonder Dream Wonder.
We appreciate it if you would like, subscribe, turn on notifications, leave a comment, or a suggestion.
If you have any questions, comments, or suggestions for us or the pod, you can email us directly at wonderdreamwander@gmail.com.
Don't forget to sprinkle a little pixie dust on your day. And remember, the magic is just a podcast away.
Until next time, keep wondering, dreaming, and wandering.
Yay!